Hi, my name is Al Green. Not that one, but the struggling guy who was in the music industry for years trying to sell talent and songs to agents. The agents befriended me and taught me techniques that I want to pass on to you through my program, which is called You Can Talk, You Can Sell. Anyone who has ever taken this program has excelled in selling and either risen to the top of their company, their team, or the top of their field. It's called You Can Talk, You Can Sell, and you can get it right here. Is it important that you have fun at work? We just talked about that. But what's even more important is that you actually not just enjoy your work, but have fun. When we have fun, when we go to an amusement park, or we go to a concert, or we go to an event where people are doing things that are enjoyable, it gives us a good feeling inside. Those kind of endorphins make us feel like we enjoyed it so much we want to do it again. And then it becomes a more fulfilling experience. So for example, could you imagine if your favorite thing was to go on a roller coaster, and when you get on a roller coaster you feel like it's work and you're not really enjoying it, then why would you go on it? You wouldn't want to go on it again. Or if you go on a thrill ride, one of those ones that, it's kind of dangerous where you feel like you're falling off a building, scares the heck out of you. And if you're enjoying it and screaming and getting it out of your system, and then you come back and you survived, you have this feeling of exhilaration like, wow, I did that. One of the most thrilling rides that I went to, I was on top of a building and it was 800 feet in the air, and it shot you into the air. It's called the Big Shot. It was up in Vegas. And I can tell you, I can understand how the astronauts felt, but it scared the living pants off of just about everybody on that ride. I was sitting there thinking, what an experience this was. It was the most exhilarating ride I've ever been on in my life. And when you get off, you feel like you actually survived something. It's the strangest thing. I can't even go into it. I'd have to cover so much detail. But it was fun. And why was it fun? Because everybody was thrilled. In other words, they got a jolt out of it, and it made them feel like they actually did something and survived it. Well, imagine if work was like that. Now, you can't have a thrill ride at work necessarily, but what you can do is you can visit your customers and enjoy them with things that you find in common that are enjoyable. So, for example, years ago, I had a customer. He loved doing movie quotes that identify the movie just based on the quote. Quotes like, we need to get a bigger boat. And quotes like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. But he would dig into some of the more obscure ones. Some of them are kind of like, for example, you can't handle the truth. That was a great one. You can almost tell, if you know the movie, you know what movie I'm talking about. It's very enjoyable. And so it got to the point to where I had to to get along with him. And I didn't mean I was having trouble. I'm just saying that I wanted to build rapport. So I started coming up with movie quotes to see if he could guess them. And if you stumped him, it would be actually more fun for the guy. Meanwhile, we're trying to get work done and I'm making a sales presentation, but these are little quips that were stuck in between. And those little quips are the kind of things that make people feel that things are different with you. There's nothing wrong with having a guy that you enjoy visiting, especially if he's entertaining you. And let's face it, some things are very entertaining. If a person tells you a stupid joke and you actually get a kick out of it, sometimes I would laugh at the dumbest jokes because the person telling it was making it funny that person of all people were telling that joke. So I enjoyed it. Not that I hadn't even heard the joke before, but to think that this person who was at this job, who was an engineer, not the kind of person you would expect to tell a joke, would say something that was so off the wall that you had to laugh. And that's okay, because once you build that rapport, you can go back. And as long as you don't make it the habit of every time you come in, you're there to be Mr. Entertainment and tell jokes, the whole idea is enjoy it, just for the same reason that if you bring donuts and coffee to a group of office workers in the morning. That's kind of like a fun thing. Oh, we get to have donuts. And it's fun because you're associated with doing that. You just don't want to be known as the donut man, because what will happen is after a while, if you keep doing it too much and you don't do it in the right spirit, they're going to be saying when you show up, where's the donuts? And you don't want to say anything that's going to be derogatory. You're going to make a joke and go, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I left them at home and I ate them all, or something ridiculous. And people will be understanding, but you don't want to establish a precedent that you're too serious, because that just adds to the stress. What de-stresses people is if you can make a joke and still be serious at the same time. Okay, there was a guy I worked with. I'm not going to mention his real name, but let's just, for the sake of everything, let's call him Jim, okay? And he was a top salesperson. And he would hit these big numbers and just impress everybody. And so when he would get up, people would make fun of him in a fun way. There goes Jim. And Jim would get up to go take his trophy when they announced it. And he would even make a joke. And he would say, I didn't do this. My customers did. And he would say it in such a way that it was fun. It wasn't like meant to be anything other than fun. But he did it. He could pull it off. Now, I wouldn't be able to do that same kind of joke. People wouldn't buy me doing that. But if on the way up we go, there goes Jim, you might want to take that magician out of his back pocket. Or he's carrying his lucky charm again. Okay, little things like that. Still, whatever it is, to have fun. There is no job that is so serious that you can't enjoy it. Every job can be enjoyed. And if you're selling to people that are very, very stiff and stodgy, you can still get them to open up. And it's been done many, many times. And some people they'll open up to and some people they won't. I knew a guy years ago who dealt with a female at work, and he could joke with her without it becoming sexist or in any way derogatory. She happened to be a mother of like 3 kids, and she was busy all the time when she wasn't at work. And he would say things like, do you ever think about bringing your daughter to work? And she didn't have that kind of job. She was in outside sales. She goes, no, but my daughter brought me to school one day, and I jumped in. I said, what'd you sell the kids? And of course, everybody kind of laughed because she was a terrific salesperson. But that's what I mean, is that wherever you can, have fun with it, because then you start enjoying your work even more. And there's no law that says you can't make jokes and have fun. Build a rapport with people. What makes them tick? Years ago, when I was trying to visit a building, it was a high security building, and the guard in front was this really nice guy, but he was reading a book that I happened to have read years ago that had a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. And I started talking about the book. I said, I know that book. Where are you at in it? And he says, I'm about halfway through. And I said, listen, I won't reveal the ending, but I won't reveal the beginning either. And he started laughing, even though it was the stupidest thing. And the whole reason why was because he loved to laugh. If you think about it, a lot of people love to laugh. So why not make some humor at work? And I don't mean making fun of people, because that's derogatory. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is just have fun. Enjoy it. And joking in a way that is often construed as he's being crazy, he's being creative with his thinking, is actually a good thing. You can enjoy that. And then you can enjoy your work. Interestingly enough, I built a rapport with the guard in this building. So when I would walk into the building, he would look at me and he'd go, oh, it's just Al, let him in. And then he would he'd have to hit a button to open the entrance to the building, and I'd go in. I also made sure that when I brought gifts to the customer, which was often in the case of things like donuts or bagels, and I would bring them something like as a gift just for them to enjoy their snack time, I always made sure I gave some to the guard at the guard shack. And he loved it, because rarely do people do that. They just walk in. But I always made it enjoyable because I was taught that. And guess what? I enjoyed the heck out of my job. And as a result, my customers enjoyed me. And the next thing you know, I'm making sales like you just couldn't imagine. The sales that the top people make, they do things differently. They don't treat it like it's so serious. You can perfectly enjoy your work and joke around with people, especially if you find common ground to joke with. I don't mean necessarily that you're cutting all the time, because there's a point where if they don't take you seriously, you're going to lose out. So the idea is to make it so that you can be the one that they enjoy seeing. And I don't mean that every time you walk in, you got another joke to tell them. But there was one guy years ago that's exactly who he was. Every time he'd walk in, they'd say, "What do you got for me now, Fred?" And he would tell them these horrible jokes, and he would make these jokes last forever. So by the time he got to this horrible punchline, people would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he made us wait through that whole joke." But he sold a lot because he had the kind of personality that he could get away with it, and it was really a lot of fun. And there's no reason why you can't do that too. So enjoy what you're doing, and don't be afraid to lighten up and enjoy yourself.